Hey, narrative mindsetters, how's it going? Uh, Go ahead and get up. I know you want to hear what I got to say. So, with that being said, uh, get on up. You got a whole full day to operate. So, um, new job is going pretty decent. Um, I wasn't going. I wasn't going to. I wasn't going to put an episode out today. I almost didn't because I bought a Sentinel, well, ESOP Sentinel A60 welding helmet because that's what I am. I'm a welder by profession, right? So I bought a helmet and my hard hat gear came today. So I was in here a little while ago and then I looked and saw that my headgear had arrived. They delivered it down to the mailroom. So I said, okay, headgear for my job is more important than, making an episode today, seeing as how I got a ton of episodes already scheduled, but whatever. So I went and got my helmet, got upstairs and got the packaging open. Then I had to go back downstairs to get my hard hat out of my car. So I get downstairs and I guess it had rained a little while ago here. So I get downstairs and of course, my car is in the middle of a lake. So I had to take my shoes off, go through the water. Then I reparked my car out of the water and got my hard hat and brought it upstairs. And then surprisingly, the ESOP Sentinel A50, A60 headgear hard hat conversion, because that's what I'm doing. I'm taking my regular headgear off and putting headgear on that'll snap right onto my hard hat, because at my new job, they want you wearing your hard hat all the time. So everything else, they want it on top of your hard hat. So, and they gave us these kind of generic, more toward Miller hard hat adapters, but I wasn't going to destroy a brand new helmet for those. So I said I'd wait. So I got it. Fits good, surprisingly, and it's actually give credit to ESOP because that's the easiest headgear that I've had to put on ever. Usually, your headgear is in, you take off the little knobs and it's in like, a million pieces that you got to figure out how they go. There's both original and the headgear made by ESOP also exact same knobs. I was like, okay, I'll give them credit for that. But I also wanted to talk about how my job has been going. My job has been going pretty good. It's been there's only my second day, I think. But I don't know. I'm kind of getting mixed feelings somewhat, because on one hand, they have a hard time, not getting people, but getting people to come back. And then on the other hand, a lot of people are not passing the drug test. A lot of people are not passing the hearing test, which is a new one. They're really, serious about it. If you can't pass the hearing test, you can't work there. It's a noisy place, but I can understand. If you don't hear what somebody is saying, I mean, you could easily, get hurt, get ran over, stuff like that. And that would be a really bad accident, because you'd be getting run over by a car that's moving slow. or, your foot getting run over by a set of train wheels that ain't even that are not even attached to the train. I mean, that would be horrible. But the reason I say I have mixed feelings is because today the guy I was working with, he kind of made a comment that, he said, "Hey, we had to torch some bolts off," and he said, "I'll do it because I don't want it to take all afternoon." And he said it kind of in a joking way, but I was kind of like, this is my second day. Kind of took it a little personal, to be honest. But lo and behold, I didn't get in my feelings. I was like, just kind of brushed it off, said whatever, because right after he said it, then he said, "Oh, well, we'll cut those off after break," which was break. We still had 15 minutes. And then after that, he said, "Well, we got to take this off because I fucked up." And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm starting to think like, yeah, okay, I'm not taking that comment seriously at this point. So we get back after break, and remember, he's already told me that he's going to cut them off because apparently my torch cutting is way too slow. And it's my second day, but never mind that. So after break, he says, "Well, go ahead and cut those off." Oh, so now you want me to cut them off? Okay. So I get under there and I'm cutting off the bolts, and he specifically has been telling me all day, when you cut, don't, make sure you don't gouge the original material. So I said, okay, I'm not sure why he was telling me that, because I never, at this job, never gouged material. So I get up under there and I cut them off, and I cut off the bolt, the nut on the bottom of the bolt, but there's like a hairpin the size of a washer I leave on there, because anybody that knows anything about a torch, if you put the torch head up against a piece of material, as long as you don't angle it, you won't cut into the original material. But when you flatten it right up against the material, the torch has a kind of like an outer edge of like maybe a 1/16 of an inch, maybe. So that's what you end up leaving on the material you're cutting, because otherwise you have to angle it towards the material to get that washer thickness of material off. So I left that on there. He left and had gave me some instructions, and he came back, and he immediately went to, cut off the stuff that I had just cut, because it was like, apparently, I didn't cut it, good enough or whatever. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So, and to be clear, what my point was, and what happened was, my point was, leave that little washer of material, smack it with a hammer, comes right off. So he, made a point of trying to fix my torch work. Then he cut his bolt off. Then he hits the plate on his bolt, and lo and behold, the part falls right on the ground. Mine did exactly what I had designed. The reason I cut it like that, any weight on it, smack it, comes right off. So we go on, we cut the rest of the bolts, right? So he's on one side and he's doing his bolts. He says, "Hey, you cut, your 4." And at this point, I know he was thinking, you cut your bolts and I'll go down here and chit chat, whatever. It's going to be a while. So I don't know what happened. If he accidentally adjusted the torch the right way, And for those of you that don't know about cutting torches, if you set it almost right, it'll heat up the metal really quick. If you set it a little bit off, then it'll take a little longer to heat the metal up. So he gave me the torch, and apparently he had kind of maybe adjusted it just a hair, because when I got it, put it right on the bolt, heated it up, sheared it right off. I had all 4 bolts cut probably 2 to 3 times as fast as he probably thought it was going to take me. Then I got done. I got up, went around the other side of the car, and I was standing there, and he looked at me and said, you got those cut off? I said, I'm ready. And then I was kind of, since I kind of knew a couple things, then I was kind of moving a little bit different. I wasn't waiting on him. I was getting the parts we just took off, putting them in the area where they're supposed to go, moving another part that I have to torch off the grease off of it tomorrow. Just doing little things besides just standing there waiting on him. So at the end of the day, he asked me, so you coming in tomorrow? And I laughed, because I was like, I mean, that's the plan, unless you all know different. You're getting rid of me on my second day, and you already can't keep employees. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure, I don't think he really meant anything by it, but it kind of, when you have a day like that, it's kind of like, I wonder if they're, kind of, one of those kind of backhanded kind of comments or conversation or whatever. So, but like I said, again, I didn't get in my feelings. Still not in my feelings. It just kind of made me think, like, they trying to say that, yeah, I'm slow. It's my second day. That's, I don't know too many people that are, whipping parts out at a new job, on the second day. So not a big deal. Don't have anything against him, nothing against the company. They are great people. So far, it's a great atmosphere. The only bad part about the job, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a wuss, but only bad part about the job is that you get really dirty, because you're up under those cars quite a bit, doing different things. So you get dirty. But, I'm no stranger to a dirty work environment. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's not something that I'm going to, not something I'm gonna leave a job for, And what else was I gonna say? That's not a big deal. Not a big deal. It's not not like I haven't had a job where I had to get dirty before. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna go enjoy my little bit of free time I got. I have my afternoons off, and I'm going to bed about 9. But I wanted to get this video out, kind of let you guys know what's been going on. New job, second day, how that's going. And as always, I hope that your day is going good. If it's not, come on now. You got to turn that around. You have to, make that day better than it was if it's going bad. Have a good one.